Hello everybody and welcome back to Imperator Rome, where we are waiting for our manpower to regenerate, and while we're doing that, we are upgrading some of our settlements to cities and just working on our technology and manpower bases. So realistically, we could go through some of our cities here. I really wish in the macro builder, when you went into here, I really wish that when you clicked on training camp, for example, actually does it? Hang on, let's wait for a month tick. I think it does tell you how many there are. Oh, hello. The battle-hardened soldiers serving under Timoleon Petubast have performed might acts of valor. I think that's supposed to be mighty, but it's might. Timoleon, in an act of benevolence, has requested permission to institute a particular form of service reward unique to his army. Timoleon would take great offense at being denied this honor, but we might wish to be careful of allowing him too much autonomy. 2% discipline. Or he would lose 1 billion loyalty. Dude is 51. And he is the leader of the Sabin army, which is the one that is currently being grown. And we can't change which one the manpower is heading into. I mean, the soldiers should have their due. I'm gonna go with this. If he becomes more ambitious, I'm gonna be salty at him though. Luckily, he's only one of our 4 armies, and it should not be too big of a deal. Now, as I was saying, I'm pretty sure this is a mount you can build. I wish it also showed you in another column here how many were already built there. Yeah, it doesn't show that from this interface. That's unfortunate. Because, like, right here, I actually do want to build a training camp. And we can afford to spend some money on that because we are definitely falling behind on our political influence a little bit. Although maybe we should continue saving up our money until we run out of political influence. And then just continue spending the bulk of our political influence on territory activities. Might not be a terrible idea. But regardless, I still do want a training camp up over here. Granted, it's not going to make us too much right now, but does that change? Okay, that's just a flat manpower change. It doesn't change the ideal fraction of freemen or anything. Interesting. Very interesting indeed. So, what all does actually change the ideal fraction? Let's check here. Territory provincial loyalty on the entire territory? Oh my. Slave output, happiness, and ideal fraction. So we can build mills to get more slaves. We can build... Temples seem to me like they're a relatively temporary thing, and you don't actually want them long-term after you've converted. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Maybe that state religion happiness is enough to merit them, but I don't know. I feel like they're primarily useful for that pop conversion speed. Foundries give starting XP, which is nice when you're recruiting. Granaries for provincial food capacity. Primary culture happiness and assimilation speed. That is very similar to the temples for religious. So I feel like, again, once you're fully assimilated, those are probably not super worth a building slot. Marketplaces for commerce value, which we don't make much of yet. Libraries for citizen ideal fraction. Aqueducts for population capacity, which is actually a relatively big deal. That's 4 population capacity. You get a building for every 10 pop, so you're backwards on building slots, but regardless. Kataba, go away. Tax offices for tax, and forums for freeman ideal faction. Uh-huh. That's interesting. So I feel like maybe specializing cities might be a good thing in this. Because, like, for example, we've got our training camps here. which gives us plus 20% manpower. We can also build a couple of forums for more freemen to really pump out the manpower, and just go into it heavily with aqueducts and just try to get a bunch of freemen. It's a potential option. It would be a little bit less Europa and a little bit more Stellaris in terms of how that would actually end up playing out. Certainly interesting. Regardless, we almost have enough gold for another city, and I think... I mean, realistically... Oh, hello, Adefa. You're now a city. Congrats. I feel like, realistically, we should probably specialize these. Probably should. So, like, Guara, we would probably go ahead and make this into a manpower production machine, just pumping out the manpower. We would get rid of the fort that's here and move it into Debark. So we could actually do that relatively soon, but I want to get Roja upgrading first. So let's go ahead and get that up to a city. Excellent. And then we could get our fort constructing in Debark almost immediately. We need another 37, or we need 37 in total to build the fortress. Also, these buildings are going to get super cheap. Our civilization value increases our pop capacity. Interesting. As well as our civic advances. Okay. Fascinating. Yeah, I think we can definitely do this. So, that means that with that fort building, we can safely destroy the fortress that's here. We have a tax office here. I'm going to leave that for now. We maybe have a tax office in every location. Slaves. Maybe we don't. We've got property taxes and our steward and blessing of Oratalt, but realistically, as far as pops go, only slaves contribute to this. Now, citizens contribute to commerce income. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, we can definitely make this work. So we would need to decide relatively early on what specializations things are going to be, right? So, like, we've already decided that this is going to be a manpower city, and we'll be able to tell that very easily. But we should, if that's the case, we should definitely build a forum here. And we should probably get rid of the tax office. Can we have more than one forum? I believe we can have unlimited of any of these, except for maybe forts. I'm not sure. But yeah, if this is the case... Okay, the freemen are currently unhappy, but this forum will help them with that. Why are they currently unhappy? We've got some Katabians in here, which is a thing. Interesting. So that has something to do with it. Wrong culture, things like that. Hey, excellent. So, yeah, we're gonna need to definitely consider this very carefully. As we head out, we're gonna need to like redo each of these cities. So I have a feeling that Guara should probably get should probably be our primary recruitment spot. So we would get a foundry there. Or multiple foundries. The Katabian army needs a commander. Let's go ahead and tactically inflexible. RIP. Our commanders are all garbage, so we're going to go for the one that is oldest. There we go. And we're going to go ahead and have him drill. Perfect. Going for oldest because that way he'll die soonest. And then we'll be able to replace him. Anyway, back to what we were doing over here, which specifically, I'm going to get rid of these academies over here. This guy's a researcher. That's fine. We're going to destroy the academies and the library here. And I would like to build potentially a second forum here. Maybe, like, keep the number of forums and training camps even. Oh, hello, what is this? We are apparently not good at things. Okay, so we'll just keep the number of forums and training camps even. We'll get rid of the tax office that's here. And then the final thing that I would like to construct here for now, I think, would be potentially a foundry. Or maybe just another forum. Just spam out the ideal fraction up to, say, 80-90%. I have no idea what the issues behind that are going to look like, but that guy's really bad at his job. Wonderful. And Timoleon Petubast is currently being a jerk, but his reputation is going to be ruined by this. Excellent. He's disloyal. But he also has no reputation, and he's just leaving the army where it's at drilling, so I'm okay with this. Sounds good. No risk of civil war, so we should be fine. So realistically, maybe we should have our ideal fraction for the type of city that we're going for at about 50%. So then this would be at 49%. So that would be perfect. And then everything beyond that would go into training camps. Is kind of the concept there. So Guara would be a manpower producer. We need manpower and technology right now. Debark is a border city. So this is kind of a fortress area. We'd be able to give higher fort levels. I feel like the training camp here isn't very worthwhile, at least for now. That said, I do want to continue making more cities. Granted, a lot of these aren't going to be specialized for a bit. But I feel like, as of right now, our money is best spent on getting cities. The aunt of our researcher just died. Okay, I don't really care. So yeah, we need to specialize these cities, and I wish that... Okay, so this system works a lot like Stellaris, right? Where you've got your number of pops. Stellaris doesn't have the different types of pops, but you've got your number of pops that contributes to your available city buildings, or your available planetary buildings. But the thing about that is Stellaris pops up in the outliner when you have an available one. This game does not do that. So we're going to have to periodically go back and check. That's something that they could improve. I wonder if there's an option for that. There is not. Okay. That's something that they could definitely improve on, is have the outliner keep track of when you have a city like this with an available building. There's nothing notifying me that this exists, but there should be. So that's the thing. Well, it is basically time to put a cut in here, and we have gotten a long way through our manpower deficit. 19,878 more men to go, and we have learned some important things about what to do with our cities. Play it like it's Stellaris. Lesson learned. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and I will see you all next time.